Welcome back to Hydrohaven, garden enthusiasts. Today we're diving into a composting technique that has quietly produced some of the richest soil amendments for generations, yet remains largely overlooked by modern gardeners. The traditional Amish layering compost method isn't just folklore. It's a scientifically sound approach that creates nutrient-dense compost that often outperforms expensive store-bought options. As someone who's tested countless soil amendments over the years, I was genuinely surprised by the results when I first implemented this method in my own garden. The difference in plant vigor, production, and disease resistance was remarkable. Let me share with you this time-tested formula that the Amish have perfected through centuries of sustainable farming practices. The Amish composting philosophy centers around resourcefulness, balance, and patience. Unlike modern quick composting methods that prioritize speed, the traditional Amish approach focuses on creating the perfect environment for microbial activity while balancing carbon and nitrogen ratios with precision. What makes this method special is the careful attention to material ratios and layering techniques. The Amish don't simply pile materials randomly, they create structured layers with specific proportions of ingredients, allowing for optimal decomposition and nutrient retention. The foundation of the Amish composting technique is what I call the 5-3-2-1 ratio system. These numbers represent the proportional volumes of the four essential components: 5 parts carbon-rich materials, also known as browns. This includes dry leaves, straw, aged sawdust, cardboard, and wood chips. The Amish particularly value hardwood leaves and clean straw for their balanced decomposition rate and mineral content. 3 parts nitrogen-rich materials, often referred to as greens, are next. This includes fresh grass clippings, vegetable scraps, coffee grounds, and animal manures, preferably from herbivores like horses, cows, chickens, and rabbits. 2 parts soil activators are where the Amish formula really stands out from conventional approaches. Their activators include aged forest soil, finished compost from previous batches, and specific dynamic accumulators like comfrey, yarrow, and nettle leaves. 1 part mineral additives. The secret ingredient component includes crushed eggshells, wood ash, in moderation, bone meal, and sometimes crushed rock dust or clay. These materials add vital trace minerals that most modern composts lack. Now let's get into the specific step-by-step layering technique that makes this method so effective. Begin with a 4 to 6 inch layer of coarse woody material, small branches, corn stalks, or wood chips. This creates essential air pockets at the base of your pile, promoting aerobic decomposition from the bottom up. This layer shouldn't be counted in your ratio calculations. It's simply the structural foundation. For the first working layer, spread a 3-inch layer of carbon materials, then add a 2-inch layer of nitrogen materials. Next, sprinkle a thin 1/2-inch layer of soil activators, followed by a very light dusting of mineral additives. Moisten each completed layer with water until damp, not soaking. This careful layering establishes the foundation for effective decomposition. Continue building your pile following the same pattern, maintaining the 5 to 3 to 2 to 1 ratio throughout. For practical purposes, this typically means creating a 3-inch layer of browns, followed by 2 inches of greens, then 1/2 inch of soil activators, and finally, a very thin dusting of mineral additives. The Amish tradition emphasizes that each layer should be thoroughly moistened before adding the next. They often use a watering can with collected rainwater, which they believe contains beneficial microorganisms not found in treated water. The final layer should always be carbon material, ideally straw or dry leaves. This acts as a protective roof that helps retain moisture while allowing appropriate air exchange. The Amish often cover this with a breathable natural cloth like burlap during extreme weather, removing it during moderate conditions. Unlike conventional composting wisdom that suggests frequent turning, the Amish method recommends minimal disturbance. Their approach involves building the complete pile as described above, then allowing it to sit for 3 to 4 weeks undisturbed. This initial cooking period is crucial for establishing microbial communities. After this period, turn the pile just once, moving outside materials to the center, then return to minimal disturbance for another 4 to 6 weeks, followed by one final turn before the final maturation period. This limited turning schedule preserves fungal networks that break down complex carbon structures and allows slower-working microorganisms to establish themselves. Modern research has validated this approach, showing that overturning can actually reduce the final nutrient content of compost. Specific material combinations. The Amish seasonal approach. The Amish adjust their compost ingredients seasonally, something that gives their compost formula additional effectiveness. Spring compost blend. The spring carbon base consists primarily of fall leaves stored from the previous season and straw. For nitrogen, they focus on early spring weeds, winter animal bedding, and first grass clippings. Special additions include more wood ash, about half a cup per cubic yard, to counteract spring acidity. This blend helps prepare the soil for the growing season ahead. Summer compost blend. During summer, the carbon base shifts to dried garden debris, shredded paper, and straw. The nitrogen focus becomes garden trimmings, vegetable scraps, and abundant grass clippings. Special additions include extra water monitoring and thin layers of clay soil to improve moisture retention during hot weather. This blend takes advantage of the quick decomposition that summer heat provides. In autumn, the carbon base primarily consists of fresh fallen leaves, corn stalks, and straw. The nitrogen focus shifts to final garden cleanups, fallen fruit, and coffee grounds. Special additions include more finished compost as an activator to help break down tougher materials. This blend prepares for the slower winter decomposition period. While active composting slows in winter, the Amish use this season to collect and prepare materials for spring. They often store materials in covered areas, layering them dry to preserve them until needed. This preparation ensures they have ample materials ready when the next composting cycle begins. The Amish approach to composting problems is preventative rather than reactive. For compost that becomes too wet or anaerobic, they add more carbon materials, especially straw, and consider incorporating small twigs for structure. When the pile becomes too dry, they often use a compost tea sprinkle made from previous batches to re-wet a pile, adding both moisture and microorganisms in one step. Testing for compost maturity. The Amish hand test. Traditional Amish gardeners use simple but effective tests to determine when compost is ready. The smell test indicates mature compost should smell earthy, like fresh forest soil, never sour or ammonia-like. The finished Amish compost is so nutrient-dense that it requires different application rates than store-bought products. For vegetable gardens, apply a 1-inch layer and gently incorporate into the top 3 to 4 inches of soil before planting. For established perennials, use as a half-inch top dressing twice yearly, in early spring and fall. What makes this Amish composting method truly special is its sustainability. By using locally available materials and creating balanced mineral-rich compost, the Amish have maintained soil fertility on the same farmland for generations, without dependency on outside inputs. In our modern gardens, this approach offers similar benefits: reduced reliance on purchased fertilizers, closed-loop nutrient cycling, and healthier plants with natural disease resistance. Gardens maintained with this compost formula typically show improved drought resistance, fewer pest problems, and higher nutritional content in harvested foods. I've been using this method exclusively for 3 seasons now, and the difference is clear in everything from soil structure to vegetable flavor. The higher mineral content translates to more vibrant flowers, more flavorful vegetables, and plants that withstand weather extremes with remarkable resilience. If you try just one new garden technique this year, make it this traditional Amish composting method. Your plants, soil, and harvest will show the difference, and you'll be participating in a sustainable agricultural tradition that has quietly proven its worth for centuries. If you've enjoyed this deep dive into traditional composting wisdom, please subscribe to Hydrohaven for more content that combines time-tested gardening knowledge with practical modern applications. Share this video with fellow gardeners who might benefit from these techniques, and let us know in the comments about your own composting experiences. Until next time, happy gardening.